I never knew my father other than the stories that my mother told me. She was singing in a club and he just kind of walked in and swept her off her feet. And 9 months later, I was born and he was gone. When I look in the mirror, I always wonder, do I look like him? Do I sound like him? What I wouldn't have given just for one picture of my dad.
I let you down, and I know that I was not always around. I made you feel alone. You spent most of your nights just sitting on your own. I should have done so much more, like giving you the things you asked me for. And I know I was wrong. It's what I try to tell you with my song, tell you with my song. What if I said I'm sorry? What if I'd make a scene? Wouldn't that make you mine again? You're all I'll ever need. Didn't I make you laugh? Didn't I make you smile? Didn't I make you feel like you were happy for a while? I know that I've done so many things that let you down, but I hope that you give me one more chance to make you mine. When I close my eyes, you know that you're the only thing I see, and it makes me cry to think that you are no longer with me.
Hi everybody, it's wonderful to come talk to you today. How are you doing today? I hope you had a wonderful week. I had a pretty good week. I wanted to say a shout out to a young man named Dylan. He is the son of one of my lovely subscribers, and he watches me and Cooper, so I wanted to say, hi Dylan, I'm glad you're here. You know what, this week I quick wanted to talk about how we keep our hands and our neck pretty after 50, and I thought I would quick go over what I do and the products that I use, and if they work for me, they might work for you too. So you want to do that today? Okay, let's do that today. So I only use 3 products on the back of my hands, and it's very important for me to try to keep age spots away from my hands for as long as possible. So I buy an over-the-counter 2% Hydroquinone Cream. Porcelana, and it looks like this, but it is a very, very thick cream, and you just sort of dab it on, kind of pat it on the backs of your hands. And the thing is, because it's 2% hydroquinone, it makes the back of your hands more susceptible, more vulnerable to the sun. But what's so wonderful about this new formula of Porcelana is that it contains sunscreen, so you're getting the hydroquinone, you're getting the benefits of fading any kind of age spots, but you're getting the sunscreen. You can also use this on your face. I have found that the 2% here with my hands, I don't have any age spots at all, but I did. So this product worked really well for me. The second thing I use on my hands is the Studio 35 Walgreens alpha hydroxy acid. This is this was really an amazing fun underground product on YouTube. It started, I think, about 4 years ago, and it became the holy grail of so many ladies, because this cream, it really was the hidden gem on the bottom shelf at Walgreens. 8% alpha hydroxy acid, smells like Elmer's glue, horrible packaging, but wow, does it work. I remember the first night I used it on my face. The next day I got up and I just sloughed off all this skin. It was just amazing. But what I use it for every single day is for the back of my hands. And it is fantastic. Now, I know it smells like Elmer's glue, but it works, and it is amazing. You know, it seems to lighten my skin. It exfoliates the back of my hands. This runs about $8. So, and the Porcelana runs about $6, and it will last you a year for your hands, and you will have the most beautiful hands in the world. You know, twice a month I use the Derma sea salt scrub on my hands. And I've showed you this before because I use the Derma on my face, and I use that once a week on my face. I used it on my neck this week, and it turned my neck all red, so I have to rethink that maybe a little bit. I don't use sugar scrubs or shea butter scrubs on my hands that you can make at home or buy in the store because I hate sugar in my body or on my body. I think sugar is just so unhealthy for us, so I try to stay away from all sugar scrubs. But what I do love on my hands is the Derma sea salt scrub. And I have shown you it before. You can get it almost anywhere. It's a little expensive. It's $25. But using the sea salt scrub on your hands, it's just amazing the difference, how smooth they look. And it exfoliates them, and it's just really nice. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I love it that you don't have to buy a special scrub just for your hands. That's something that works so beautifully for your face also works for your hands. And finally, on my hands, I use a sunscreen. Any sunscreen that is 50 or higher, I use on my face, on my neck, and on my hands. And I think this is so crucial. So I just slather on the sunscreen on my hands, on my neck, and on my face. And the sunscreen I'm using right now is any sunscreen that I found on sale. And right now I'm using a Walgreens sunscreen that is 55 plus. And because I cannot stand that smell of sunscreen on the back of my hands, I use a special hand lotion. And I use the Vaseline cocoa butter hand lotion, not because I think it's the best hand lotion in the world, but because it smells like cocoa. And so it hides that sunscreen smell, and I absolutely just love it. The scent of it is so beautiful, and it really just doesn't go away. It keeps smelling like cocoa. And I think I've told you before that sometimes, you know, if I'm out in public and I'm feeling a little bit anxious, I have these little cocoa butter bars that are in my purse. It's like aromatherapy, so it kind of calms me down. I love how the hand products are all so interconnected, where you can use the alpha hydroxy on your hands or your face, the porcelana on your hands or your face, and of course the sunscreen. And the sea salt. So I just think it just feels so good for me to have those products interconnected, you know, that I can kill two birds with one stone, although I would never kill a bird with a stone. So once a week I use that Derma microdermabrasion scrub. It's a sea salt scrub. Night goes by where I don't sleep with the porcelana on the back of my hand. Last night about aging and our necks, and they were saying that two of the biggest culprits of an aging neck was smoking and sun damage, and I never would have thought either one of those things would have anything to do with how young our neck looked. So I was shocked to read that. So that led me to believe that I wonder how often people use a sunscreen on their face and on their body but might forget their neck. And also they were talking about there is a muscle that is in our neck, and that as we age that muscle is used less and less because we show less expression in our face every day, so the muscle doesn't get the workout that it normally would. That muscle, it gets a workout when we show facial expressions of happiness, excitement, big smiles, and all that helps that muscle. And then as we get older and we become, maybe our life settles down, maybe we're not smiling as much, maybe we're not as happy as we used to be because we're checking the age spots on our hands. I mean, I don't know, but it makes sense. It does make sense that we are going to want to do whatever we can to make this muscle strong, because what I use on my neck is argan oil. And to me, argan oil, I don't know if it's really better than some of the other things that are just for, your neck. There's nothing that I put on my face that I don't put on my neck, but I always will put extra argan oil on my neck. Why? It looks good, it feels good, and I swear I see a difference in the tone. But overall, my bottom line is it really doesn't matter what kind of body butter you put on your neck, or argan oil, or rosehip seed oil, or anything. You slap Crisco on your neck. I mean, I really just don't think it matters. As long as it's being hydrated, I really don't think it matters what type of cream or oil that you put on your neck. About 20 years ago, I heard a plastic surgeon on television say that if a woman did this, and it's a kind of a contortion with her face to tighten her neck muscles, it's like saying never, never really tight. I know it looks really funny. But the plastic surgeon said if a woman tightened up her neck and contorted her face so her neck would be tightened, that she would never need a facelift for the rest of her life. And I remember I was like 30 when I saw him say that, and I really took it to heart. And so I would do that every morning, afternoon, and night. I think I would always make sure that I did my neck exercises, and most of that was pretty much, they're called neck isometrics, where you just hold your face in a very tight position, and then that tightens your neck. So the bottom line for me is I use argan oil on my neck, but I think the most important thing that I do is I do neck exercises every single day. And it's very important for me to keep those muscles as tight as possible on my neck to help me with my skin.
I let you down, and I know that I was not always around. I made you feel alone. You spent most of your nights just sitting on your own. I should have done so much more, like giving you the things you asked me for. And I know I was wrong. It's what I try to tell you with my song.
Yeah, I really like this Rocket River by Burt's Bees. I like that color a lot.
What if I said I'm sorry? What if I'd make a scene? Wouldn't that make you mine again? You're all I'll ever need. Didn't I make you laugh?
I think there's a Rocket River in Colorado.
Didn't I make you feel?
I don't know, I guess I've had Colorado on my mind this week.
I know that I've done so many things that let you down.
When I was a young girl, I was about 20, and I was a shy musician, and the most respected musician in the city as far as a jazz guitarist was this boy, and he would play at the local bars, and I would go see him play every Saturday night, and he played so well, and it was like magic watching him play. He was so handsome. After about a year, he looked my way, and we started dating, and then we moved in together, and we were together for 3 years. He helped me out a lot. He taught me a lot of things. He came from a very wealthy family, and Sometimes his family made me feel like I was the girl from the wrong side of the tracks. I had already been married shortly, for a very short period of time, and I had a young son who was 2 years old. But he never made me feel like that. And I had sold my original piano to buy baby food for my son, and Mark took it upon himself to go out and buy me a piano so I could have something to play. So he would play guitar and I would play piano and sing, and I began to write songs, and 40 some years later I still write songs. It became my life. Yeah. You know, Mark traveled all over the world. He was a fantastic musician. He traveled all over. He couldn't settle down. He couldn't help me raise my son, so I ended up, you know, marrying someone else. But I always loved him, and I think he's always loved me. And you know, the last few years we've reconnected, and you know, he calls me his girl and I call him my guy, and it's very sweet. It's very loving. It's very forever. You know, sometimes I'm tempted to get on a plane and go to Colorado and just see what all that is about, you know? You know, when I found that card, that Easter card that my son got for his father, you know, I started thinking about, you know, growing up without a father and how I married men that were father figures. But the thing about the years that I had with Mark is he wasn't a father figure to me. It was wonderful. He was my boyfriend. He was my lover. He was someone I could be free with. I think that's what I loved about him the most. He never told me what to do, or how to think, or how to be. So yeah, sometimes I think about, you know, getting on that plane and seeing what we're all about. It's love's illusions, I recall. I really don't know love at all. But I do know Russert River by Burt's Bees. Yep. And I like this lipstick. I like this lipstick a lot.